Welcome to TradersArmy.com, defending your right to build wealth and preserve capital for generations to come. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Everybody had a great trading day and actually a great weekend. We didn't have a DMC yesterday due to our live trading room. So we're going to do what we do each and every day here, take a look at the futures markets from a breakout and reversal trade perspective. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So starting with the S&P, we're up about 8 points this morning. Had a little bit of a market rally yesterday, but what we're seeing is that we're getting a fair amount of sideways price action really in the overnight Globex session. Now we've just popped up above that Globex high, and so this would typically mean that we would anticipate prices to continue to move higher. Matter of fact, when I look at this, if I go out a bit further, I have kind of a vacuum, if you will, of price, and I don't really have any strong resistance until up here at about 28.80. So there's room for price to kind of continue its move higher. Now, if you don't feel like, hey, I feel I've missed a lot of this move, but I still want to be involved, try to wait for a bit of a pullback. And when I go to, say, a 15-minute chart, where might I find some pullback opportunities? Well, right here at the European market open is where we saw the origin of our latest kind of jump higher. So you could certainly wrap your lines around this area here, 28.41 by 28.43, right there at the European market open. If we get a little pullback this morning into one of those areas, maybe before the U.S. equity markets open, I think that could serve for a good potential entry. Other than that, if we don't come into that one, there's another area down in here that's actually a pretty good reversal off of the hourly chart right in here. So both of those I think are valid for reversal points as we continue to move higher. In the NASDAQ, we actually had a level that we had identified on our Sunday night session, and price moved up away from it, came back into it, and started the rally out of that level. We were talking about it could have been a potential breakout trade out of that level as well, and that trade, it has continued to move up. So if you were one of the guys that took that trade, do me a favor, leave us something in the comment section down below. Same thing like we have in the S&P. If we go to and we look at the European market open, we may get another opportunity right about here, 73.60 by 73.66 for a bit of a potential reversal. Okay, so all somewhere in that region. Looking at crude oil. So crude oil, this was really our best trade of Sunday evening that we had from our live trade room. We actually were talking about just playing the gap fill level. Price had gapped up. Now that gap was on a contract rollover, right? Remembering that gap was on the contract rollover play. And since that gap was on the contract rollover play, depending on the brokerage platform that you use, you may or may not have seen this particular gap, depending on how you look at your futures contracts. I like the way that this particular broker, TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim platform, does it. Seems to be pretty effective, and we got a really nice gap fill trade right into our level, and then price really just moved away yesterday. So if you took that trade yesterday, you're going to want to take your stop and move it up underneath our last level of demand right in here. So leave me in the comment section below if you took that trade from the live trade room. But really, a trade like that essentially can make most of your week, right? I mean, that's a very nice move. It's not bad to have most of your week made by Tuesday morning. In gold, So in the in this level here in gold, we're taking a look at this particular area. So in gold, we had a potential reversal off of this level. Now this level hit while we were teaching the class on Sunday evening, and a number of traders got into the position. Now we eventually popped up. I really kind of felt like this was actually a stronger level, but we actually blew directly through it. Now this is a great picture of oftentimes an old area of supply will act as a new area of demand. Old resistance sometimes can become new support. And so that's kind of what we're seeing here. This area that got blown through right away became an area where more buy orders were sitting. So that level is no longer going to be valid, certainly going forward. But we are coming into an area up above us, this 1309 by 1311 region right in here. If I look at this and I just draw my lines here, I see that I am forming a rising wedge pattern into a resistance area. So I think that you want to be, if you're long from this area down here, great. I would take some profits off the table and certainly get ready to move your stops up, because I think that this could be a decent little reversal coming up. Because when I look at this on the 4-hour chart, we have a lower swing low. Higher swing highs, higher swing lows. So we are still, kind of moving up. If I can make it through here, then we are definitely long term on the buying side, as it's got really then no more resistance for a while higher. All right, bonds and currency markets. In our bond markets, we have, we had these little tweezer top area up in here on Sunday night that we'd kind of spoken about, but it didn't get us a huge move away, just a little bit of one. And now it's kind of chopping sideways. So really nothing to add there. There's no strong levels that I want to add to that have changed from what we had last week. In the Aussie, we have started a little bit of a rally higher. We've got a 15-minute supply level up above us. We are kind of putting in a little bit of pinch here, so look for a breakout one way or the other on this. Remember that the breakout, if we break out to the upside, we've got some resistance here up above us. To the downside, it would be this gap fill area right in there that we have identified. In the euro, another one, strong move higher, continuing its move up off of that contract rollover gap. Now we are coming into the area here where I've got a little bit of resistance, a little bit of supply up in here, but until then, I think price can kind of continue to move higher. So on really a pullback, you've got a couple of areas down here that are pretty decent little levels, and we're actually coming back to one right now. So I don't feel like this is a quality enough level for me to be willing to jump in, because I've got so many other good levels. But I think we could see a little reversal from here and go a bit higher. And then in the Canadian dollar, we've got a couple of levels of demand where price has not quite made it back to. I'm a little bit concerned that we keep putting in lower highs, right? We keep putting in slightly lower highs on here. This gap higher was unable to really propel us to new heights. And when I go to the 4-hour chart, you can just see that we are definitely in a little bit of a pinching pattern. So let's see if price actually moves down from here into somewhere into this region, back down here. So I think we could look for a little bit of a move down. Great British Pound, Japanese yen. In the pound, we had talked on Sunday evening about getting short below this area here. You got a nice little run out of there. It came all the way back down to close the gap, right? We can see that we closed the gap, and now it started to trade back up. So what am I looking at the moment? And by the way, if you took that short, awesome trade, nice little run that you got out of that one. So you would be looking, probably the next short would be below this candle's low. So you need to get below this candlestick's low before you've got another short on a breakdown opportunity. Japanese yen, we gapped up above our potential entry through here. Now that level is still something I'm going to keep an eye on, but really our better level is the one up in here, which is the origin of this strong move, which we've not quite made it back to that area as of yet. So keep an eye on that one. I did look at the contract specific on the Japanese yen, because I will occasionally look at the contract specific. And on the contract specific, we actually are in an area that is a little bit of a level of supply right now. That's the little tweezer top area. We've hit it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in all reality, you should probably move your stop down to break even to lock in some of those profits if you took the trade itself, because it doesn't look like it's going to move much out of this level. So I hope you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. If there's anything you need, please feel free to reach out. Support@tradersarmy.com, and I will see you all real soon. Have a great day.